we get political analysts for over the phone, in there for Zoom, they join us. In name na Achike Chude. If we sit down to you talk about this matter. Oga Achike, good morning and welcome to Wazobia TV.
Precious, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so you don't hear what's in Oga. I sure say you don't read that news when Oga Babatunde Fashola been talking last week concerning borrowing for our future generation. Make we first look at infrastructure. As he talk and say, would they borrow to use build infrastructure for our future generation? Should be infrastructure now. What it be say? You know, in fact, how you see the statement first of all before I go ask more questions. How you see this statement to Oga Babatunde Fashola talk?
Well, you know, say some people, people don't talk say borrowing not be bad thing. Say if the person they borrow money, make it take and do better thing. We go fit generate money, then that can borrow is no bad. And many countries for the world they borrow. But the problem is saying now which can borrow where Nigeria they do. I know say get one saying where we they talk. He who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing. And we don't sabi waiting they happen with borrowing. For instance, people where they borrow money from bank. You borrow money from bank, you want to use them for your family, to take care of your family, based if you do some other things. At the end of the day, the only house where you get, as you know, if you know if it can pay that money back, the bank will come, carry the entire house, sell them to some other people. You go can't leave you penniless. You don't get anything anymore. So you can't find that say, because of your borrowing, the position where you did before, where you did now, come worse than the position where you did before you begin to borrow money. So it depends on how waiting person they borrow money from. But the reality they say, waiting Fashola talk. Based on waiting we know, some people go talk say, make sense, waiting in the talk. And say if I part of Tommy can't talk about this matter, he said the reason why politicians they borrow with reckless abandon, for this country now because they don't consign them by the time they come out for office. Now make it be said they do what they want to do when they do office. By the time they come out for office, they will leave the body, makes another person carry them. So consign them. So waiting mean be say our politicians for today where we they talk, no they responsible, they know they patriotic as far as me are concerned. Because they're supposed to look for other means to they take borrow money. And I want to talk and say, even if as Fashola no be expert on economy, first of all, the president himself no be expert for economy, but they supposed to work with experts. We're going to give them advice about the economy. And the experts don't they talk, economic experts for Nigeria and international, don't they talk say this borrowing way Nigeria they do, say it don't they reach danger signal. The IMF and World Bank don't they tell us about 3-4 years ago, say this borrowing way they do not they sustainable, say we don't feel sustainable. Say we go reach time where we will get serious problem for the country because of the borrowing. Local experts, economists, them also don't they talk. But now the issue be say you want borrow for development, no wahala. But the infrastructure where they talk about, which kind of development? They talk about rail line. The rail line itself, where they talk about, for instance, which is one of the most important infrastructure where they talk say that they do. The thing itself no feel sustain itself because borrowing has a sustainability. You know feel sustain itself because if you know what they charge passengers, already some passengers don't yari say they don't go by train because it's they're expensive. So when you want to do that, so anytime government want to do something for people, they go make sure say the thing they're available and the thing they're affordable. If the thing no they if they're available and know they're affordable, then you know they. You understand? So, but again, the way they want to run the rail line, if they fix the amount where the proper amount where they're supposed to collect from passengers, then they say that train line no go fit sustain itself because people no go fit pay. Now, waiting they happen for Kenya. The more the train this way they don't build for Kenya don't get serious problem because of the kind of money where they borrow to take construct rail line. Fit the passengers where they get no they feel sustainable. So if Kenya is not taking the thing go collapse. We hope say this one no will collapse.
Okay, so I be want to talk say the rail project and just one of the many things, many infrastructures where we say government won't spend the money inside. Hospital, for instance, now one of the things them you see, and then roads now one of the things them. But the concern now where a lot of Nigerians they get them feel say most of our road them no they that durable to fit lasts for our unborn children that to come use them. So you see most of these infrastructures sustainable and long-lasting enough for our unborn generation to fit enjoy them.
Make I tell you, Precious, this one are one of the most reckless government we don't get for the history of this country. When it concern borrowing. By the time the government entered power in 2012, the debt where they meet around 12 trillion naira. As at this time, early this year, now around 34, 36 trillion naira, they want to borrow another 4 point something trillion. So the thing will reach around 4.1 trillion. Now, no government, all the government concerned, concerned combined for Nigeria never borrowed that kind of money before. And so waiting, you go ask yourself, say, with all this kind of money where they don't borrow, say no be just roads where they go fix. If you look at the kilometers, the thousands of kilometers of road where we get with the money where they borrow, you go think say they for don't do too many roads past the ones where they don't do. So somehow they know they meet up with the money where they borrow. Then are you talking about the two most important sectors for this country? You mentioned one of them. You mentioned healthcare infrastructure. Our doctors, they're on strike. Why the doctors, they're on strike? Only because of the allowances, because the hospitals know they work, because they don't get infrastructure for the hospital. The most important, sector for this country now healthcare. The next one is education. Our lecturers, every time they're on strike. Why? Not because of just allowances, but because they don't get infrastructure to support education for this country. So if the two most important sectors no get proper infrastructure with all the money where government don't borrow, then they talk about road. Which of the road? Lagos Ibadan. Lagos Ibadan are one of the many roads where we get for this country. So me no talk say the road Lagos Ibadan expressway no good. It good. I mean say government they do it. But waiting me at the top, we say if you borrow, for instance, 100 naira, and say if you calculate that thing well, do and well, that 100 naira if it give you 10 items. Then because of corruption and some other things where they happen for the system, the 100 naira give you 2 items. You go talk say you don't, you go feel beat your chest, say you don't do well. So I read one punch story recently where they talk say over 60% of the money where the country, the revenue where they generate for this country, where they take do something, say that they steal them for corruption. So what it means, they say now 40% that they use to pay overhead costs, salaries and then capital expenditure.
But this one when you talk already, the government don't talk, say true, they know they borrow for recurrent expenditure now. Say they know they borrow for salary.
Economy.
Say now our normal revenues and I need to use do that one. Say they need to borrow for that one.
Look, the recurrent expenditure that they spend around 2 point something, 1.7, 2 point something trillion naira for recurrent expenditure. Look, in 2019, the debt service, ratio, of debt service, to revenue ratio now 54% of the income. In 2020, the thing don't reach 72%. The first 5 months of this year, the thing don't reach 98% of the country's revenue when they use to service debt. How that kind of thing will work? Have anybody, for instance, will get the proper sense to talk say that thing is sustainable? If it's sustainable. You understand? So all of us there for serious trouble. So if actually they talk say,
hello, Oga, Achike, you hear us? Hello, I don't they lose your voice. Oga, you they hear us? You they hear us? I know they hear you again. I don't know whether you they hear me. I know they hear you again. They hear me? We don't lose them. We don't lose them. I don't know whether you go still join us back for inside the matter. So the matter what they talk about now concerning the one we be say Oga Fashola, Minister for Works and Housing, they talk about say would they borrow? Many people know they fear as it be say they say government they borrow, government they borrow. Say government they borrow to ensure say make we fit get better infrastructure for our unborn generation. Some people come they talk say make we even look. Okay, Oga Achike, they hear me now.
I didn't hear you.
Okay, so I'm not going to even look at some of the ministries them where be say they give like cholera outbreak now. Cholera outbreak now they where for inside the country. And one of the major causes of cholera outbreak now, of course, bad water. We know that one. So we could look at the Ministry of Water Resources, for instance, who feel say our country don't even fit handle water supply enough for people to get good pipe-borne water to ensure say we'll come out down for inside the matter. Abi, now part of what you be say we'll fit use this borrowing money do. I don't want to talk about housing where be Oga Fashola side because housing again another major ministry where be say we're supposed to chook inside. Make I hear your response.
You they hear me now?
I they hear you now.
You don't say you don't say if fella be talk say water, light, food, house. I think they talk say water there everywhere. Say Nigeria it is surrounded by water, but we see a single drop of water to drink. How many years fella thought this kind of thing? How much they don't put for inside water matter for the country where we know they see water for virtually every city. In fact, the matter don't worse. I say this one are both federal government and state responsibility. Because when they grow up, when they see water even for ordinary street, if they work out for streets.
True.
You know, so if you actually go home from school, if you go just sit down, you go drink water, you know, for pipe. If the water not there, you go suck and you go take by force, suck the water go there.
Come on.
You understand? Now the water don't disappear for this country.
Except the ones that people provide for themselves.
I mean, government, you know, say people don't become their own government in many ways. You go provide light, you go provide water, you go provide security, you go do your road for the street and the rest. So now part of this infrastructural problem where we talk about. So water no there anywhere, and government go just they borrow. So if they say they want to put the part of the infrastructure money for water, no be batting. You understand? But the people will no put water for healthcare. You know, they go fit put. I mean, wait, no fit put money for healthcare. They go fit put money for water. Water is life. Some of us not they fight the battle for water to make sure say water go there affordable, go there available for Nigerians. You understand? But with government never fit, you know, generate enough water for the people of this country. So water no they, even though we they surrounded by river, for sea and for ocean, but nothing. So now the problem of government. So if government say make they put money for that infrastructure for make water there, that won't go good. But they never do them. And me I know say they no fit do them.
Okay, Oga Chike, time no there. I be want to ask you why it is said they no go feed them. But be like say we no get time again. In one word, if you tell us why it said they no go feed them.
Because they never settled the problem of misgovernance for Nigeria. They never settled the problem of corruption, where they just make our money disappear. So this thing where Fashola talk lastly, now enslavement for our children. Instead of making the thing liberate the children of tomorrow, the thing will enslave every single one of them. Already we don't get problem until China and all these other countries begin come to take over our assets. Now that time our eyes go open.
You don't talk and finish. Thank you plenty, because I won't actually ask you, make it give us your final take, but you don't already talk and say, waiting or Fashola talk, say, you know, sit down well with you. But some people go to say sit down well with them. But I like the fact you say tell us with your full chest at the thing do you for Bele. Thank you plenty, Oga Chike Chude, political analyst, as you join us on top of this matter concerning the statement where Oga Minister for Works and Housing Fashola talk concerning borrowing for our unborn generation. I hope so next time when we'll call you, go answer us sharply the way you answer today. Thank you plentifully.